Moving from the discussion of those who stumble because of disobedience, 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 9 shifts focus to elevate and affirm the identity and purpose of those who embrace faith in Christ. This verse states, "But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light." This passage is a powerful declaration of the believer's new status and calling in Christ, marking a stark contrast to the disobedience discussed previously. The verse begins by calling believers a chosen generation, signifying that they are selected by God himself, not through random chance or mere human decision. This choice is both an honor and a responsibility. As a chosen generation, believers are brought together across time and space, linked not by bloodline or nationality, but by the spiritual rebirth through Christ. This generational aspect transcends age and era, encompassing all who come to faith in Jesus. Next, Peter refers to believers as a royal priesthood. This compound expression is deeply significant. The notion of royalty implies reigning and sovereignty, suggesting that believers, in union with Christ, share in his kingly authority and dignity. The term priesthood harkens back to the role of priests in the Old Testament, who mediated between God and the people, offering sacrifices and prayers and teaching the law. In the New Covenant, this priestly role is transformed. Every believer is now a priest, tasked with direct access to God through Christ, and the privilege to offer spiritual sacrifices of worship, praise, and good works. Furthermore, believers are described as a holy nation. This term emphasizes a collective identity that is set apart for God's purposes. Holiness refers to purity and dedication. Thus, as a holy nation, the community of believers is distinct from the secular world, dedicated to God's service and governed by his commandments and values. Described as his own special people, believers are marked as God's possession, indicating a deep, personal relationship with him. This phrase underscores the intimacy and security of belonging to God, who values each believer as a precious treasure. The purpose of these designations is clear: that you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. This calling out of darkness into light metaphorically describes the transformation from ignorance and sin to knowledge, truth, and righteousness. Believers are rescued from a life alienated from God and brought into a relationship with him, filled with his presence and grace. The response to such a profound transformation is to proclaim publicly and joyously the praises of God. This proclamation is not just through words, but through the very lives believers lead, reflecting God's light in a dark world. This declaration serves several functions. It reassures believers of their value and significance in God's eyes, countering any feelings of insignificance or rejection they might experience in the world. It also unites them across diverse backgrounds as they share a common identity and purpose in Christ. Moreover, it challenges them to live up to their calling, to actively participate in the mission of God's kingdom by declaring his goodness and telling others of the hope found in Christ. In practical terms, this calling to proclaim God's praises involves both verbal witness and a lifestyle that embodies God's principles. It means engaging in acts of kindness, standing for justice, and demonstrating integrity and love in everyday interactions. Each action and word becomes a testimony to the transformative power of the gospel. 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 9 is not merely descriptive, but also prescriptive. It not only celebrates the new identity of believers, but also commissions them to act on this identity. By embracing their roles as a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, and a special people, believers are equipped to spread the light of Christ in a world that often does not recognize or accept him. This verse, therefore, encapsulates both the privilege and responsibility of the Christian calling, motivating believers to live out their faith dynamically and devoutly in the world.